understand how the world works. You have to build a track record of being morally right. See, the United States keeps on harping about human rights and democracy. It will say that we have consistently supported and promoted human rights and democracy. And yes, verbally they have supported and promoted human rights and democracy for decades. Their actions are totally contrary to that claim. They have been propping up dictatorships all across Africa. They have conducted so many regime change operations across the world. They recently tried it in Georgia. They have done that in Ukraine. They will interfere in the internal affairs of various nations, including India. And their human rights record, well, but they keep on verbally supporting and promoting human rights and democracy. So India is also now building a genuine track record of actually through actions supporting other nations. When the coronavirus pandemic hit us, India was the only large nation, major nation, to send vaccines free of cost to other nations. When the US would send the vaccines, they would expect, they wanted money in exchange. So what the Americans call aid is actually sales. On the other hand, India sent vaccines, the Indian vaccine that actually works, not the American vaccine. India sent the non-dangerous vaccine to various poor and hard-hit nations without expecting anything in return, without asking for any payment. So India is building this track record. What does it do for India? In the long run, it will help the world understand what India is all about. It will ensure that the world trusts India, because India is poised to rise now. I have spoken about this before. I spoke about it yesterday. China, this is no longer China's century. China's century is already over. The only nation that has any chance in this century to surpass the US economically and otherwise is India. Only one nation. And when we rise, we are already rising. When we rise, we don't want the world to fear us. So we have to send signals to the world that we are not like China, an expansionist power, a hegemonic power, a rapacious power. We do not seek to exploit you, right? So we have to do these things to send that message across. We have to do it again and again, over and over again, to reinforce the message. So we did that when the coronavirus pandemic happened. We helped as many nations as possible without asking for money in return. And when it comes to these calamities, we are willing to help even nations that are very strongly anti-India, like Turkey, on humanitarian grounds. So when India genuinely rises, and we will need the world to cooperate with us, they will be hopefully willing to cooperate with us willingly, without doubting our intentions. When China approaches a nation for cooperation, the people doubt what the true, they wonder what the true intentions are. With India, it will not happen. So that's the reason why India does these things. We are investing in India's long-term future. Okay, so yes, we do spend taxpayer money on these things. It's going to benefit the nation in the long run. Don't look at the world from a short-term window. Look at it from a big picture perspective. So for once, for the first time since 1947, we have a government that thinks long-term, that thinks long-term. That's what we are witnessing in action. So let's not get all emotional and wonder why the government is wasting taxpayer money. And let's not accuse the Turks of betraying India. We know exactly what they're going to do. And they have not surprised us. They did exactly what we expected them to do. That's fine. We don't want anything in return from them. We are building a track record. We are building, like they say, you build a resume, right? You do the right things and you build a resume. So India is building its geopolitical resume. That's what we are doing.